Once we know that Java is set up correctly on our computer and we can run the web start Java programs, then it's time to install the App Inventor extras. The App Inventor extras allow us to have a connection between our phone and our computer using the ADB bridge. It also gives us an emulator if we don't want to use the phone or we don't have our phone. So once again, we're going to go to appinventor.googlelabs.com and we're going to click the Learn button. So here's Learn. That takes us to documentation and reference for our App Inventor. And we're going to click on that Getting Started link, and we're going to click up Setting Up Your Phone and Computer. This is part of setting up your computer. We did this part, testing your Java configuration. We downloaded Java. We made sure Java would work. Next is installing the App Inventor Extras software. So if we have Mac OS X, we would click this link. If we have Linux or some other POSIX compliant operating system, we would click that link. If we have Windows, we're going to click the instructions for Windows. Now, the first thing we need to do is download the installer software. That's the first step right here. We will click the download the installer. Once again, I'm using Chrome, so at the bottom of the page here, you see it asks me if I want to save this. So I'm going to save it. It's going to save it to my default download directory. You see it's about 60 megabyte file, so it could take a little bit to download. If you're using Internet Explorer, let's look at what would happen. Let's open Internet Explorer. And if we click that installer software, the pop-up comes up in the middle of the screen asking us to save that somewhere. When we click Save, then we can specify where it's downloaded. And I'm going to click at Downloads and say Save it there. It's going to say, hey, one already exists because we're downloading it from the other window. So I want to say, no, I don't want to replace it because we're already getting that. Once that download is completed, whether that's Internet Explorer or Chrome, we're going to run that. Remember, with Internet Explorer, we can click Run when it's done. With Chrome, we can click Open. And then it's going to ask us if we want to run that file because it came from the Internet. Internet Explorer will do the exact same thing. So we're going to run that install routine. It's going to give us a welcome. We're going to click Next. We're going to agree to the license agreement for the SDK. We're not going to change this destination folder. There are circumstances where you might think that would be a good idea. The general recommendation is, unless you want to spend a lot of time changing stuff, don't do it. Don't change the destination folder. You do want to record it. You do want to write down somewhere that your App Inventor extras exist at Program Files, in my case x86 because I have a 64-bit operating system, and then /Android/AppInventor-extras. It's entirely possible that you're running a 32-bit operating system, in which case this path by default is going to look like that. It's going to look like Program Files /Android-AppInventor-extras. If you're using 64-bit, you'll see the x86 in there. All right, then you're going to click Next. You're going to tell it to install. And we're not actually going to do it on my machine. To verify the installation of the extras components, we're going to go to Start, All Programs, Accessories. We're going to scroll down to Windows Explorer. That's going to open Windows Explorer and allow us to drill down. You recall we wrote down or remembered where the install directory was. It was on the C drive. So we're going to click into the C drive. And then we recall that it was in Program Files x86. Yes, we wrote that down. And then we saw that it was under Android. So here we do see an Android directory. So far so good. Then we see there's an App Inventor Extras directory. So far so good. And this is what we want to see, though. We want to make sure that we see adb.exe. We want to make sure that these DLLs are here, these dynamic link libraries that actually do the functionality of connecting to the USB device. And we also want to see this emulator here, along with the Make SD and the Start Emulator batch. The Start Emulator batch is what we will use to actually start up an emulator if we're not using a USB connected phone. There are many useful things we'll be doing from this directory. You'll notice if you double click the adb.exe that you'll see text scroll very quickly past the screen and no useful things will be done. That's because this is a command line tool that will need to run from a command line. However, this Start Emulator batch can be double clicked from Windows Explorer to start a Android emulated device. So we'll let that start and we'll talk about using ADB. ADB is a command line tool, so we need to open a command line by clicking Start. On Windows XP, you would actually click Run. When you get this Run box up, you'll type CMD for command prompt and bring up the command prompt. The command prompt almost always dumps you into your user directory. And so your path, the part in front of the flashing icon here, is always going to be your relative path. Anything you type at the prompt will only run or attempt to run from the directory or the relative path you're currently at. So when I type ADB at this command prompt, nothing happens. It says it's not recognized. That's because, remember, our path was significantly different. Our path to the ADB command is actually /program files x86 Android app Inventor extras. So I need to get to there. It's a real easy way to do that. We're going to do change directory /. That tells the computer to change our relative path. CD stands for change directory. So we're going to change directory to the root of the hard drive, which you see now is C:// is my root. I'm going to do CD again, change directory. And remember, it's in program files, x86. So I'm going to do PRO. Then I'm going to save myself some typing time by hitting the tab key. Now, it comes up with program files, which isn't what I want because it was at program files x86. So I'm going to tap. So I'm going to tap the tab key again, and program files x86 is what I want. When I hit enter, it changes my relative path now to C/program files x86. But remember, there's another level of this path that we recorded earlier, and it's Android app Inventor extras, 2 more levels. So I'm going to do change directory, AND, and hit that tab key again. It filled it in for me, and I hit enter. Now my path is program files x86/Android. So change directory again, app, hit tab, and it fills out to app Inventor extras for me. Now I know I'm at the right path. Program files x86, Android, app Inventor extras. So what I'm going to do now is type the dir command just to verify that the commands I need are here, such as that ADB command there. Now, if I type ADB, text scrolls by, and I can scroll back and look at the help or instructions for using the ADB command. And not usually of a lot of use to straightforward troubleshooting, but some of that is. One thing that you'll definitely be asked to do if you communicate to a support team member or to the Google group that you can't connect to your phone, you'll be asked to run the ADB devices command. Now, once again, because we are using ADB, we'll need to be in that path, program files, x86, Android, app Inventor extras. And we'll click the devices command. And if your phone is connected correctly, both USB and driver-wise, you should see 16-digit alphanumeric code in there. This is the alphanumeric code for my Droid. And you can tell that I'm connected. We also see the emulated device there. That emulated device is that emulator that we just started using the batch file. Once ADB devices shows you a 16 16-digit alphanumeric code there. There's a pretty good chance at that point you're ready to up and go and connect to App Inventor and everything will work fine. When you do not see a 16-digit code there is when you have to start troubleshooting a connection, and we'll talk about troubleshooting USB connections, etc. in the next video.